to the Moshiach Mystery series. This is the second Shiur in this series. We're talking about Avodas HaShem and Yemos HaMoshiach. Just before we begin, tonight's Shiur is dedicated to the speedy recovery of Yaakov Chaim Moshe ben Freda. So we talk about Avodas HaShem and Yemos HaMoshiach, serving Hashem and Yemos HaMoshiach. So we know that things are going to be a lot different when Mashiach comes in many ways. So last time we discussed about how our Limud HaTorah, how studying Torah is going to be different when Mashiach comes. So tonight we'd like to discuss and learn about actually the first mitzvah in the ways in the Rambam's in his the way he enumerates the mitzvahs. So the first mitzvah, Rambam says, the way he starts off his Sefer Hayad, Mishnah Torah, he says the first mitzvah is Leida Sheyesha Matzir Rishon. The first mitzvah is to know Hashem, to know and understand Hashem. There's a pasuk says Das Alekei Avicha, know the God of your father, Ba'avdehu B'leiv Shalim, and you have to serve him with a full heart. And the Rambam, in fact, he concludes Mishnah Torah, the last halacha, when he talks about Mashiach. He says when Mashiach will come, that the whole world will be filled with the knowledge of Hashem like the waters cover the seabed. So we see that knowledge of Hashem is something that is going to epitomize our life in Yemos HaMoshiach. That will be a time when everybody will know Hashem, the whole world will be filled with the knowledge of Hashem. So if we look over here in Yirmiyah, Sefer Yirmiyah in Perek Aleph, Perek Lamed Aleph, Pasuk Lamed Gimel, chapter 31, verse 33. So it's a very interesting pasuk over here. It says, "V'lo yilamdu oid ish es re'ehu v'ish es achiv leimar de'u es Hashem." No longer will one man teach his friends, or one man his brother, saying, "Know Hashem." Ki chulam yedu oisi, for all of them will know me. L'miktanam va'ad gedaylam, from the smallest to the greatest, Ne'um Hashem, says Hashem. So over here the pasuk seems to be saying, on the one hand, that when Mashiach will come, so everybody will know Hashem equally. There will just be this knowledge and awareness of Hashem that no one will need to teach anyone else. There will be no need for teachers anymore. It says, Kulam yedu esi, everybody will know me, Hashem says. Right? Everybody will know Hashem. That's on the one hand. On the other hand, the pasuk itself implies L'miktanam va'an gedaylam, from the smallest to the greatest. So what does that mean? From the smallest to the greatest. What, from the shortest to the tallest? I'm saying what? Right? So simply it means that we're talking about small and great in knowledge of Hashem. So on the one hand, it's saying that no one will have to teach his friend. Everybody will know me. On the other hand, it still implies that there will be people who are ketanim and gedolim. Some people who will be small in their knowledge of Hashem, and some people who will be great. So how do we reconcile the two parts of this pasuk over here, this verse? On the one hand, it seems that no one will need to teach his friend because everybody will know Hashem. On the other hand, they're still small, they're still great. So what's going on over here? Okay, we could throw in another question, is that we know from other sources also that when Mashiach will come, so Mashiach will actually be a teacher. It says Mashiach will teach Klal Yisroel. And he will teach, it says, even the Avos, even Moshe Rabbeinu. So there's another source where we see that teachers will not become obsolete, and Mashiach will be a teacher and he'll still teach us. So how does that fit with the fact that the pasuk says, Lo yilamdu oid ish es re'ehu, that no longer will one man have to teach his friend? Okay, so we're going to explore different answers to this question, starting with the pshat, the simple meaning, and the mefarshim on the Tanach, the Radak of David Kimchi, and then we'll go on to the Hasidic explanations. Okay, so the Radak says like this: V'lo yilamdu einay omer sheyu kulam shavim b'chachma. The Radak points out, the verse, the pasuk is not saying that everyone will be equally wise. That's impossible. And it's certainly not possible that the children or the small people should be as wise as the adults, the older people. As you see in the verse itself, it says that there will be people who are small and people who are great. What does the pasuk mean? It means in the knowledge of Hashem. He explains knowledge of Hashem. Radak says means fear of Hashem, going in the ways of Hashem. As we've explained. He says that's what it means to know me. That's what Hashem is saying with knowledge of me. So basically what the Radak is saying over here, he's differentiating between understanding, knowledge of Hashem, and das as Hashem. He says das as Hashem doesn't mean understanding. Understanding, of course, will always be many different levels, and it's impossible that everybody should be at the same level. It says not when we say that everybody will be equal, it means in the fear of Hashem and going in Hashem's ways. So that's the Radak's explanation. So basically, he takes das as Hashem out of the simple meaning of how you understand das as Hashem, like knowledge, like intellectual knowledge. Rather, it's more of the fact that everybody, you could say, everybody will be frum, right? Everybody will be religious and fear of Hashem. Okay, so now we'll explore what it says in Chassidus, and we'll see that in Chassidus there's a similar approach to the Radak, but of course, as always in Chassidus, in a much deeper way. So over here we have from the Alter Rebbe, by Mori Admir Hazakim Hakzorim. So there's a sefer from Maimorim from the Alter Rebbe, which are very short Maimorim. So over here he says like this. This is a Pirush al Pasuk Umalor Tzedeya Es Hashem Kamayim Liyam Mechasim. So the Alter Rebbe is focusing on the verse that says that the whole earth will be filled with the knowledge of Hashem like the water covers the seabed. Lahavin Ma'u Kamayim Liyam Mechasim. He says we have to understand what does it mean that the world will be filled with the knowledge of Hashem the way water covers the seabed. What are we trying to explain with that analogy? So the concept is as follows. He quotes the pasuk that we had before, that no longer will one man teach his friend to know Hashem, because they will all know me, from the smallest to the greatest. Says the Alter Rebbe, nevertheless, not all people will be equal. So here's the analogy. The sea is full. But the depth of the sea is not equal all around. In a place where there's a larger pit, where the depth of the sea is deeper, there's more water. And a place that's not so deep also doesn't have so much water. The same thing will apply, a similar concept, the analogy, the analog, in the time to come when Mashiach comes. So the knowledge of Hashem will be so great, to the extent that everyone will know Hashem. Not everybody will be equal. Someone who has a greater mind will understand more. And someone who doesn't understand so much will understand less. It says, nevertheless, people will not have to learn from each other. No person will be able to learn or accept more than their understanding. Each person's understanding, he will understand on his own accord. He won't need to study, he won't need someone to teach him. This is similar to the way the water covers the seabed. Meaning on top, the sea, the water, it's all equal. Right? Meaning in the analog, everyone will know Hashem. But they won't be equal in their comprehension. Yesh yesemayim, just like in the analogy, so in the sea where it's deep, where there's more water. It says, nowadays, for example, it says the neshama gets elevated on Shabbos, on Rosh Chodesh, today's Rosh Chodesh. It says the neshama is elevated to a higher level. So when Moshiach will come, people will be able to reach a higher level. And right? It says every Rosh Chodesh, every Shabbos, it says all flesh will come and bow before Hashem, meaning all people will reach a higher level of bittul to Hashem. Right? Each person will receive according to their level that they're able to attain. He says today it's in detail. I'm not sure exactly what that last line means. But basically the general idea what the Alter Rebbe is saying over here is when we say that everybody will know Hashem, it means that everyone will be full to capacity. That's what it means. It means that everybody will reach their maximum in their knowledge of Hashem. And he says, furthermore, you also won't need someone else to teach you. Each person will have a complete understanding in their level of comprehension that they're able to attain. So, on the one hand, everybody's equal. Why? Because everybody's full. Just like the sea on top. It's full, right? It's completely full, right? If the sea would go a little bit higher, it would create a flood, right? Right? The sea is full to capacity. Nevertheless, in certain places, the water is deeper. Why is it deeper? Because the depth, right? There's there's more depth. So the same thing applies also to people, right? Some people have more depth in their understanding, and some people have less. So there'll still be differences because people have different capacities. Just like in the sea, there's different levels. People have different capacities. But in the sense that everybody is full, that everybody will be completely subsumed, so to say, in the knowledge of Hashem, so that in that sense everybody is the same. So that's the Alter Rebbe's approach. Okay, so now we'll move on to the Mittler Rebbe, the next Rebbe of Chabad. So the Mittler Rebbe in Shar HaEmunah, here in Perek Tazayin, he explains it a little bit different. So I just want to point out, according to the Alter Rebbe's explanation here, we still don't have an explanation of why Moshiach will have to teach everybody. Alter Rebbe seems to imply that everybody will just understand everything on their own accord. And the only reason why we're saying that there's differences is because people have different depths. But still, we still don't understand why Moshiach will have to teach us anything. It still seems to, according to the way the Alter Rebbe explains it, the need for a teacher still seems to be obsolete. Okay, so according to the Mittler Rebbe's approach, we'll see that, according to his explanation, we'll see that that question will also be answered. Okay, so let's see what the Mittler Rebbe says. So in the middle of the line, it says, "V'zeh masha amar lo asad lavi." This is it says about the time to come. V'lo yalamdu oid ishas riyegu. That no longer will one man teach his friend. Ki kulam yedu eisi miktana v'agdola. The l'chayre aim zemuvan. Says seemingly it's not understood. The im amar yedu eisi b'lashing das. Because if you're saying that they'll know me, using the terminology of das, that the earth will be filled with the knowledge of Hashem. So when it comes to knowledge, understanding, you need to study, you need to learn. One man needs to teach his friend understanding, knowledge. It's like a teacher has to teach his student. That the student isn't able just to learn himself. He needs a teacher to teach it to him. Similar to how Yehoshua received Torah from Moshe. Similarly, in every single generation, there are heads, there are leaders, teachers of the Jewish people, and they teach everybody else. For example, Moshe Rabbeinu, who's known as the faithful shepherd, which in the deeper Kabbalistic sense meant that he gave the Jewish people the quality of das, the quality of knowledge of Hashem. So kach yesh b'chol in every single generation, there's always leaders who give their generation das, give them a knowledge of Hashem. So how could the pasuk be saying that Moshiach will come? No longer will one man teach his friend. How is that possible? And even though it says that the whole earth will be filled with the knowledge of Hashem, well, that itself we have to understand. How will it be possible that the whole world will be filled with the knowledge of Hashem just by itself? How is that going to happen? It says, every day we ask Hashem 3 times in Shemona Esrei. We say, Hashem, you graciously bestow knowledge to man. Right? We say that Hashem, He's the one who graciously gives das, knowledge to man. We ask that Hashem should give us wisdom, understanding, and knowledge. So over there also you have a similar thing. You ask the same question. It sounds like we're asking Hashem should give us knowledge, right? It sounds like it's going to come as a present from above, from Hashem. Well, that itself you also have to understand. How is it possible that Hashem should just bestow knowledge upon us without studying? So basically we have 3 sources that seem to imply that there's this concept that somehow there's just knowledge that's just going to come by itself. We have the first verse that says that when Mashiach comes, right? That's the pasuk we started with, that no longer will one man have to teach his friend to know Hashem, we'll all know Hashem. Then we have the pasuk Avodas HaShem, which implies that the earth will just automatically be filled with the knowledge of Hashem. And then we have in Shemona Esrei where we ask just Hashem should give us das. So 3 sources where it seems to imply that somehow das, knowledge, is just going to come by itself. So it says the Alter Rebbe like this: this that the pasuk says that they'll know me. Over here, das doesn't mean intellectual understanding, intellectual comprehension. If that were the case, how could Hashem say that they will know me? What's the difficulty? The pirush oisi hainu oisi mamish. When you say me, when Hashem says me, He means literally Himself. Shehu l'vchinas mehusei v'atzmusei mamish, implying Hashem's essence. So v'harei amru the leis machshava tfisa beklal. We say that no thought can grasp Hashem Himself. Right? Any understanding we have of Hashem is not in the essence of Hashem. The essence of Hashem is beyond understanding. Hashem is infinite. The essence of Hashem is beyond comprehension. It says even machshava da'ak, I mean even the highest level in the spiritual world is not able to grasp the essence of Hashem. Because Hashem is beyond understanding. He's not in the realm of understanding. Like the Alter Rebbe says in Tanya, he says someone who says that you can't understand Hashem because He's beyond understanding is like saying that this concept is so deep that you can't touch it with your hands. So whoever hears such a thing will laugh, right? Because seichel, knowledge, is not something that has any connection to touching with your hand, to the sense of touch, right? He says the same thing. To say that you can't understand Hashem is like saying that you can't touch a deep seichel. Hashem is beyond the entire realm of understanding. So how is it possible that Hashem is saying Mashiach will come, we'll all know Hashem, we'll understand Hashem? Hashem is beyond understanding. It's something that will never become possible, even when Mashiach comes. Ela yedu zeh hainu loshin hakora. Yedu, he says, means to recognize. Shiyakiruhu mamish. It means to recognize Him. This doesn't come through intellectual understanding. He says it's, so to say, by seeing the essence of Hashem. He gives an example. It's like someone who knows, means you recognize your friend. You know him. Because you constantly see him. It's like, you can say this is like some essential knowledge. I know that person. When you say I know that person, what does that mean? What do you know? You're not referring to any specific thing that you know about him. You know the person. You have a, so to say, a general knowledge of his existence, of who he is in general. It doesn't mean that you're not referring to any specific intellectual understanding of who that person is. So similarly, when it says that Hashem says that you'll know me, it doesn't mean that we'll understand Hashem. It means we'll have this recognition of the Hashem's existence. See, elsewhere in Chassidus it gives another mashal, gives another analogy for das. So the person knows that they're alive. A person almost can see when someone's alive. When you look at a person, you see he's alive, right? What are you seeing, right? You see life. You know what life is. Can anyone define what life is? Can someone give a definition? Can we put it in the dictionary what the definition of life is? Something that we don't know what it is, right? We see the effect of it. We see that we experience it and we see it, but we don't know exactly what it is. So similarly, when Mashiach will come, we'll have this recognition. We'll sort of say, we'll see Hashem. What do you mean we'll see Hashem? Hashem is not a thing that you can see. Something you can see. But his existence, so to say, will be so clear, will be so apparent, that everybody will recognize Hashem, just like now we feel that we're alive, and it's not something that we have to think about or prove. It's something that we experience and just know and recognize. So when Mashiach will come, that's what Hashem is saying in the pasuk, that Kulam Yedu Oisi, everybody will recognize the existence of Hashem. So we're not talking about some type of intellectual understanding. So that's what he says over here. Aval b'hasaga seichel. If you're talking about intellectual comprehension, this is a nikra shmiya v'das meirachik. This is called hearing. This is called knowledge. It's like, so to say, from afar. When someone tries to explain to you something that you've never seen before, right? So how do they explain it to you? They have to define it. They have to say, let's say you've never seen a car before, yeah? You've only seen a carriage, right? So they have to explain to you, right? Okay, so a car, it also has 4 wheels, similar to a carriage, right? It also takes you from one place to another. Then you have to explain there's this concept called a motor, right? That moves the car, and then there's a steering wheel. You have to explain it's shaped like this, and then makes the wheels go this way and that way. So, in other words, if a person doesn't see something, doesn't recognize something, so then you have to define it and you have to explain it, and then you have to teach it, so to say. So that's the concept of listening or comprehension, is it's specifically something that you don't know exactly what it is, something that's, so to say, far away, that you don't know what it is, and you have to define it in order to understand it. So that's not what we're talking about when we say Kulam Yedu Oisi, that everyone will know Hashem, right? You can't define Hashem and, so to say, and explain his essence to someone who doesn't recognize Hashem. So he says, so that's what we call Shemiya, and this is what we say, this is what we're asking in Shemona Esrei, Chaynein Hadas. We're saying that Hashem is the one who graciously bestows das. What are we asking? We're asking from Hashem that we should have a recognition. We should recognize Hashem and realize his existence, the essence of Hashem. It's like taste and see. It's literally like, in other words, we're asking that we should be able to have such a clear recognition and perception of Hashem as if we see it, just like we see life. Like another pasuk says about Mashiach, that when Mashiach will come, we'll say, this is our God. You can say Zeh when you can see it, when you can point to it. Not that Hashem is a thing that we're able to point to and say, this is it, right? But Hashem's presence will be so apparent that we'll be able to say, it's here, it's this, it's here. For this recognition, you don't need to study this. Learning only applies to something that you can grasp in your understanding. Like it says, I'll teach you wisdom. Right? And Targum Alefcha means teaching. So we say those who learn Hashem, those who study the Torah. When you see something, you don't have to learn it, you don't have to study it. You see the essence of the thing. The way it is. As it's known that you can't compare hearing about something to seeing it. Lakach la'asad lavi amar kulam yedu oisi. That's why it says when Moshiach will come, everyone will know me. Sheyedu v'yakiru b're'iyas hamahus. Everybody will see and recognize the essence of Hashem. K'maishu lami tasi. In its truth, Hashem in His essence. Oisi mamish. That's what Hashem means. Literally me, my essence. Shebezel le'shayach l'shen limud ish l're'ehu klal. It's not possible for one person to teach another person about the essence of Hashem. When it says, let us know, let us pursue the knowledge of Hashem, or other similar verses, so what are neshamis doing in Gan Eden? It says they are nen in miziv hashchina. It says they are enjoying the radiance of the Shekhinah, the divine presence. What does that mean? It means that over here in this world, so our understanding of Hashem, like intellectual understanding, is very limited. Meaning even the way Hashem runs the world and the understanding of the oirliki, the godly light, it's very limited. So when the neshama leaves the guf, it leaves the body and goes to Gan Eden, then the neshama is able to have some perception in the ziv hashchina, right, in the radiance of the divine presence. So that's an intellectual thing. That's just like in this world we understand physical things. So then the neshama in Gan Eden has an intellectual understanding of the ziv hashchina, of the radiance of the Shekhinah. So that's so to say an intellectual thing. That's not the seeing the essence. But when Mashiach will come, in the time to come, everyone will know me. In other words, the Bahasogas Seichel, the Shchiluk Madreges ben Gadol B'das L'Katan B'das. Meaning, when it comes to understanding, intellectual understanding, there's different levels. There's someone who's greater, someone who's smaller. So now he clarifies the pshat, the meaning of the pasuk. In other words, the pasuk is saying there are ktanim, there are gedolim, there are people who have more understanding, or people who have less understanding. But when it comes to yedu oisi, everybody's the same. Ein hefresh klal ben gadol l'katan. This is what it means that the whole earth will be filled with the deyas Hashem. Kulam b'shava kamayim liyam mechasim. Shekisu yachad l'kulam. It's like the way the water covers the seabed, that it's everyone equal. This is why we say in Shemina Esrei, what do we say? Right? We ask Hashem, please give us from you. Me'itcha. So what's the emphasis from you? Obviously from you, right? Obviously, who is it going to come from? What Hashem is going to give it from someone else? He's the source of everything. So what are we asking? V'chaneinu me'itcha. Please give us from yourself, chachma bina v'das, right? From who else? So the diuk over here is that das is something that's coming from that applies to the essence of Hashem. In other words, das means, what are we asking for? We're asking to have a das in itcha, in you, in the essence of Hashem. Sha'az, and when will we experience that fully? And when Mashiach comes, Sha'az yiyah kol adam b'shava, that everyone will be equal. Kamashal harei b'mehus hamelech, like someone who sees the king himself. Shekula makirim v'yodim oisim migadol v'ad katan b'shava. Everyone recognize him and knows him from greatest to smallest. V'kachai b'matan Torah, and the same thing applies. The same thing was experienced at Matan Torah. It says everybody saw. What did they see? They saw there was an experience that the existence of Hashem was so real and palpable. But kulam ke'echad hikiru, everybody recognized Hashem at Matan Torah, me'ein delo asalave, similar to the way it will be when Mashiach comes. Ansha al kol dibor chulei, to the extent that for in every word that came from Hashem, our neshamas left us. So this is the Mittler Rebbe's explanation. So basically, the Mittler Rebbe, he's explaining over here that there's two distinct ideas. There's das, and then there's hasaga, there's seichel, intellectual understanding. When it comes to das means a recognition in the essence of Hashem. For that, it's not shaykh to learn. It's not something that one person can explain to someone else. It's something that we'll just experience and feel, and it will be so real to us when Mashiach comes. And in that sense, there will be no differences between one person and another. Just like when you see something, everybody sees it equally. When we talk about ktanim im gedolam, right, smaller and greater, so then we're talking about in hasagas haseichel, in understanding. Okay, so let's move on. So over here in Simchas Torah Tafshin Mem Ches, this is the Rebbe's Farbrengen from the end of 1987. So The Rebbe basically follows the same understanding, the same explanation as the Mittler Rebbe, and Rebbe just adds in a couple points. So we'll start from the second paragraph. The Rebbe says, "Motzinu b'midrashe Razal." We find in the midrashim shegam la'asad lava yu bati midrashes. Even when Mashiach will come, there'll be houses of study. Shebahem yomudu Torah migdali Yisroel. And in those houses of study, people will study Torah from the greats of Israel. Dugmas halimud bisman hazeh, similar to the way we study now. V'yiseinim is that furthermore, mikivan sheTorah chadasha me'iti teitzei. It says when Mashiach will come, there'll be a new Torah, so to say, new insights in Torah that will come from Hashem. Yitztachel gam Rav Chadash. We'll need a new Rav. We'll need a new teacher. None other than Moshiach Tzidkenu, Moshiach himself. Will teach Torah to everyone. So, and what's the concept of a Rav? Now, when we talk about what is the true teacher-student relationship, it's shahatzogas harav hi shaloi be'erech legabe hasogas hatalmid. When you have usually if you have just like the so to say more common teacher-student relationship is where it's not really a teacher and a student. It happens to be that one person just knows a little bit more than the other person, right? So you wouldn't call the one person that he's a teacher or the other one's a student. I mean, in a certain sense, yes, but that's not the ultimate, or that's not like the true definition of the teacher-student relationship. The true definition of the ultimate teacher-student relationship is where the teacher is on an incomparably greater level than the student. And therefore the student inherently, so to say, he needs the teacher, because the teacher is on a level that the student cannot reach on his own accord. And therefore the student is the only way for him to get that knowledge is by studying from the teacher. That's the ultimate in that teacher-student type of relationship. And that's why it's the job of the teacher that he has to lower down, he has to bring down his understanding, bring down to the understanding of the student. He has to give the student some type of mashal, some type of analogy, which is always about some foreign thing that's not the essence of the understanding the way the teacher understands. Similar to the extent the ultimate example of a teacher is Shlomo HaMelech, the wisest of all men. It says he spoke 3,000 mishalim, 3,000 analogies. So the question is, why would he need to say 3,000 analogies? That seems to be a little excessive, right? So Chassidus explains that the pshat is like this. Since Shlomo's wisdom was so great, he needed 3,000 analogies. 3,000 mishalim doesn't mean 3,000 mishalim to explain the same thing. That's just excessive. There's no point of that. His wisdom was so deep that in order for him to explain it to the average man, so he would need to bring a mashal, bring an analogy of something that's more understandable. But even that would be beyond the understanding of the average person. So he needed another mashal to explain that mashal, and then another mashal to explain the third mashal. 3,000 levels. It's hard to imagine something so deep that you should need 3,000 vishalim in order to bring it down to our level. But that's how deep Shlomo HaMelech's understanding was. So Shlomo HaMelech, he's the ultimate example of what a true Rav, a true teacher is. Someone whose understanding is way beyond everyone else, and therefore everybody needs this Rav, and the Rav needs to bring it down to Mishal in order that the Talmud should understand. So when we say that Mashiach will be a Rav, that's what we're saying. Because Mashiach is going to teach us things that similar to Shlomo HaMelech. Right? So I think the Rambam says that Mashiach will actually be even more wise than Shlomo HaMelech, even more wise than King Solomon. So Mashiach is going to be teaching us things that are amazing, that are beyond the understanding of the average person, just way beyond. So the question is asked: So what's the pasuk saying that no longer will one man teach his friend? Everybody will know me. What do you mean? We'll have Mashiach who's going to be teaching us all these deep things. So what's the answer? So the Rebbe goes with the same biur that the Mittler Rebbe said. When it comes to our knowledge, understanding of Torah, hey nigla the Torah, hey primius HaTorah, whether you're talking about the revealed parts of Torah or the inner parts of Torah, yedias alakus, right, which is understanding, so to say, the way Hashem works, understanding the oira liki, the ziv hashchina. For sure, Mashiach will teach us in a way of he'll be the teacher, we'll be the students. When it comes to knowing me, knowing the essence of Hashem, for this there will be no need to teach, everyone will know Hashem. Since your master, meaning Hashem, will no longer hide himself. That means Hashem will no longer hide himself, so to say, with any garments. We won't need any intermediaries to explain us or prove to us about the existence of Hashem. Everyone will know Hashem. And the chiluk zeh mudgish because of that, right? And you see this difference in the pasuk itself. Lo yalamdu ki kulam yedu eisi lemiktana v'agdolam. So lechura mikivan shel lo yalamdu ki kulam yedu eisi lo yechiluk diktana v'agdolam. Right, like we spoke. If everybody will know Hashem, so there won't be difference between anyone who is small and anyone who is great. So obviously you have to say when it comes to knowledge and understanding of Torah, so there will be differences, there will be small and great. When it comes to our knowledge of the essence of Hashem, everyone will be equal. In this last paragraph, the Rebbe points out that you find a similar thing also when we learn Torah nowadays. You also have these two concepts that this concept dugmas gam limud haTorah disman as tamud biyade lo rak limud haTorah he nigla the Torah and primis haTorah shall yidei zeichem limud haTorah lo asalavai elagam ho'inin de oisi atem leichem shall yidei kulam yedu oisi lo asalavai. So one of the things the Alter Rebbe, I should say, one of the chidushim maybe that the Alter Rebbe has in Tanya is that we create that the Asid Lavai, Mashiach, is something that we create through our Avodah now. We create it through our Avodah now. It's not something that sometimes we tend to look at Mashiach, it's like a candy, right? With a candy, when the child acts good, so after we're finished, after the child is, proves himself on good behavior, so you give them a treat. So the Alter Rebbe says in Tanya that Mashiach isn't just like a treat. It's not just that, okay, we're good, we'll do tshuva, we do Torah mitzvahs, and so then Hashem gives us a treat, he gives us Mashiach. It says that we actually create Mashiach through our Avodah now. So he explains what's Mashiach. So Mashiach, he says, will be Geulah Lakus. Mashiach, like he talks about over here, what's Mashiach? Mashiach will be revelation of Hashem, like we're speaking over here. So how do you create Geulah Lakus? Through our Avodah now, through doing Torah mitzvahs now. So we actually are mamshech elakus into the world. We draw down elakus, godliness, into a godly light into the world. The thing is that nowadays it's concealed. You do a mitzvah, you don't see what you're accomplishing. You learn Torah, and you don't see how when you're learning Torah, you don't see how it's bringing the godly energy into the world. What Mashiach is that Mashiach, everything that we accomplish during Golos through our Torah mitzvahs will be revealed. We'll see all of that godly energy, how we transform the world through our Torah mitzvahs that now is not apparent. So therefore, everything that's going to happen when Mashiach comes, all these great revelations and experiences are going to have. So first of all, we create them through our Avodah now. And second of all, we could even see how in our Avodah now, how we could already have that experience to a certain extent. So one example, the Rebbe says, when you learn Torah nowadays, so on the one hand, there's the concept of l'miktana v'agdolam, right? Every person learns Torah according to their level. And there's differences. On the other hand, there's the concept of oisi atem leichem. When the Mezeritch says that, gives the mashal that Hashem, when a person sells something, so the buyer, he buys the object, but he doesn't buy the seller the seller doesn't come along with the object, right? The seller, he's not part of the deal. But when a Jew studies Torah, so Hashem says, "Oisi atem loikchem." Says, "You're taking me." In other words, when a Yid learns Torah, he's connecting to the essence of Hashem. So, in that sense, no matter what level of understanding you have in Torah, whether you're a child, whether you're an adult, whether you're the Gadol Hadoyer, whether whoever you are, every single Yid who learns Torah, Hashem says, "Oisi atem loikchem." You are taking me. You're taking my essence. In other words, you're connecting to the essence of Hashem. So, in other words, nowadays as well, when we study Torah, we also have this concept. We don't necessarily feel it. This concept that when you study Torah, we have a connection with the essence of Hashem. So that's one example. Then we have over here in Shabbos Parshas Vayishlach Tavshin Memches, later that same year, about the end of 87, maybe the beginning of 88. So, over here on the second column over here. So the Rebbe says like this: the idea of Elokus Lava is aschar after avoda itzter. Yiddish, yeah. It says the knowledge of Elokus, when Mashiach will come, it's a reward for our avoda now. When die zwei in Yanim Yedias Elokus Lava is einen beherrschen zu die zwei in Yanim hanal die shlichus itzter. So over there the Rebbe was talking about how every Jew has a shlichus, has a mission to transform the world, make it a dir b'tach, make a dwelling place for Hashem through Torah mitzvahs. So through our shlichus nowadays, so that's how we are going to bring the Geula. That's how we're going to bring the redemption, the Yedias Elokus, our knowledge of Hashem that will have when Mashiach comes. So in our shlichus we have these two inyanim. Durch dem was jeder Yid mekayim zayin shlichus pratis. So on the one hand, every single Jew has their unique mission. Every single person has a unique mission in Torah mitzvahs. No person's mission is similar to another. Right? Hashem has a plan for everybody. There's in the roof is da'achil, there's miktanim in the right? And of course there's a difference. There's children, there's adults, there's different stages in life also, right? When a child is 5, so what's his shlichus? Study mikra. When a child is 10, what's his shlichus? Study Mishnah, right? So at every stage in life, a person has another mission, a person another job. So through each person fulfilling their unique job that they have in every stage of life, what's going to be the schar, what will be the reward when Mashiach comes? Every person will have their special and their unique understanding of Elokus, of godliness when Mashiach comes. And of course, in that regard, there'll be different levels, right? There'll be people who are small, some people who are great. So that's when we're talking about. That's how we're zoicha. That's how we merit the level of understanding, right? The level of understanding of Elokus in which there's differences between one person and another. How do we merit to the revelation of the essence of Hashem? Kulam yedu aisi. Aber mitzad di nekudas hashlichus. However, there's the nekuda of shlichus. There was what is the essential, the quintessential point of our mission? The concept that we say that the emissary of a person is like the person himself, which means that every Yid, so to say, is a shliach of Hashem himself. He's representing Hashem himself, and therefore, in a certain sense, he's like Hashem himself, so to say. In other words, the Jew represents Hashem, just like a shliach represents the person, and he's, so to say, he's doing something for that person. He can represent that person. So too, every Yid, so to say, is representing Hashem himself, and fulfilling Hashem's mission down here. And in that sense, so it says, in them zayin all Yidin b'shava. In that sense, all Jews are equal. We're all. When it comes to the nekuda of shlichus, right? The point of shlichus, the fact that we're all representing Hashem and fulfilling His mission, so everybody will be equal. Everybody's equal. So what's the schar for that? What's the reward? Is yedu oisi. Everyone will know me. The meibushin alain, Hashem Himself. When in der yedu oisi, v'den zayin kein chilukim. Kulam yedu oisi, kulam b'shav. In that sense, there will be no distinctions. Rather, everyone will know Hashem. So here we have another idea that through in general, right, through and our mission here in this world till Mashiach comes. So there's every person has their particular mission, their unique mission in every stage of life, And then there's the Nakuda, the general concept that we're representing Hashem. So corresponding to those two aspects of our shlichus, we have the two aspects of the schar of Kulam Yedu Aisi, everybody knowing Hashem equally, and the Miktanav and Geulah, from small to greatest, the differences in our knowledge of Hashem. And one last thing over here, another concept is over here in Shabbos Parshas Va'era, Tafshin Memches, in the same year. So at the end of the Sikha, it's coming now from Parshas Va'era. So Rebbe speaks about Limud Primis HaTorah, which is Yedias Havaya. Nowadays, learning Primis HaTorah, Da'as Alekei Avichu V'avdeu B'leiv Shalom. Which this is Teichen Dalet Prakim Rishonim in the Hilchos Yisodi HaTorah. This is really the whole Teichen of the first four Prakim of Rambam and Mishnah Torah of the Yisodi HaTorah, the foundations of the Torah. The Frank Kefishet is Bara B'Torah Chassidus Chabad. Especially when you'll study Primis HaTorah, the way it's explained in Chassidus Chabad, which explains it in a way of intellectual understanding. And through this we will merit to learn Torah in the ultimate level, the ultimate perfection. Like the pasuk says in Shiurim that Hashem says that Hashem kisses us with the kisses of His lips, which Rashi says over there, which is Soy Tameh Mr. Tzifuna Yisrael. That means the secrets of the Torah, which will be revealed to Mashiach. The Mashiach will show them to us. To the extent that Hashem says there will be a new Torah, new insights, new novelay in Torah which Hashem will reveal. In a way that everyone will know them equally. And over here in the footnote, the Rebbe says another point over here. How do we prepare ourselves for this? Another way of preparing ourselves for Mashiach in this sense is through studying Rambam. The Rambam writes in his introduction to Mishnah Torah that Rambam is for everyone equally, for small and great in knowledge of Torah. The Rambam, what's unique about his sefer is that doesn't get into all the reasons. He has the basic halachas and said any person can understand this. You don't have to have a deep understanding of Torah. It's not pulpulim. It's not questions and answers. It's just straight halacha. So basically, through studying Rambam, I was referring to the takana that he started of studying Rambam every day, one chapter a day, or three chapters of Rambam a day, or Sefer HaMitzvos. And through studying Rambam now, so that's how we'll be zoicha, that's the hachana, that's the preparation for Mashiach, when we'll experience our knowledge of Hashem in a way that it's equal to everybody. In other words, through learning together something that's equal for everybody, studying Rambam, so that will be the hachana for the revelation of Mashiach, which will be kulam yedu oiseh, for everybody equal, Miktanav and Geulah. And then of Lashon HaRambam, B'siyum B'chesim Sifrei, Ki Malach Tzdeas Havai Kabam Mayam Liyom Chasim. Okay, so basically, just to sum up, what do we have over here? So we had the Radak, who explained that they had the two concepts of, on the one hand, when it comes to knowledge, understanding, there's Ktanim and Geulah, obviously, there's people who are small and people who are great. When it comes to Yedu Oisi, which he refers to as Yiras Shamayim, or fear of Hashem, Lalachas B'drachav, there are differences. And then in a deeper sense, we had the Alter Rebbe who explained how everybody will be filled to capacity. In that sense, everybody will be equal. But when it comes to the depth of everyone's knowledge, so then there will be differences, just like in the sea. There's different places in the sea where some places are deeper than others. And then we have the Mittler Rebbe, and the Rebbe also, went according to that explanation that there's two concepts. There's the knowledge of the essence of Hashem, the recognition in the essence of Hashem, that everybody will be equal. It's not something you can explain. And then there's intellectual understanding, there's the learning Torah, and in that Mashiach will be the Rav, and Mashiach will teach us, and there will be different levels of understanding. And then we have, in how we reach that, or what do we do nowadays till Mashiach comes, or it's bizarre to that, Rabbi mentioned 3 points. One point is that in Limud HaTorah itself, so there's two ideas. There's learning according to each person, according to their understanding. And then there's the Oisiyat Leichem, there's the fact that we're connecting to the essence of Hashem. And number 2, in a more general sense, when we're talking about our shlichus, our mission down here of making the world Adira b'tachtainim, a dwelling place for Hashem. So we have the Nekudas Hashlichis, which is that we're all representing Hashem and fulfilling His mission, and that everybody's equal. And then there's each person has their individual shlichus, and in that sense everybody's different. And then a very specific hachana is studying Rambam, which Rambam he wrote for everybody, the gadol, the katan, for the greatest and the smallest, and for that will be zoicha to kulam yedu oisi when Mashiach will come. And we should be zoicha, we should merit that in fact Mashiach should come immediately and take us out of Galus.